Man,
Hopefully they're able to come right on back in.
we're in the middle of a hot topic.
See if they let me get that. What are we launching from right now?
We're everywhere.
Okay.
Waiting on our people to come on back in. We're just sitting around, waiting on the company to come on back. Waiting on
Not
the
the
company to
song.
come on back. I mean, sorry. Technical difficulties, people. We are sorry. We do apologize. We are back. We're kind of back.
You know,
We're going to wait around.
streaming things can be so fickle
Yeah, nah,
sometimes.
Brandon, it wasn't you. It was. I don't know what happened. We never like I did. Yeah, this was something new.
It doesn't. Where were we?
You were talking about how I was a hoe. That's what we were talking about. You called me ain't ish. That's what we were. So
He was on the scale. He hadn't hit the fully blown, all the way over. Like he didn't complete the download, but he was downloading, and it got interrupted. You know,
that's what we're gonna do. It.
but it did. It did. It got interrupted, thankfully. So I can't remember my thought, but I want to explain to y'all why how. Oh, I was talking about women, wanting to be where they are, but they'll do that little test run thing with you that you told them they were able to do by saying, oh, I'm dating this person, as long as as long as you're good with that. But women have this thing where we're like, okay, but, I'm me. So I'm going to break you down from that. And you allowed his thing that he said was when I saw that they were too attached, and want more out of the situation than what I originally told them it was going to be. If they didn't leave before, if they didn't cut out before, I would go on and end it because it's like, oh, this is not, I told you when we got in here, this is not what we're doing. But as I told him, you used the fact that you said in the beginning, oh, I'm doing all these other things, or I'm living my life, or whatever the case may be. You use that as a shield to be able to do what you wanted to do and still have this person waiting to do whatever, even though they probably should have been doing their thing as well. They probably weren't, because most women aren't this, that, and the other. They are solid right here, and maybe they can entertain another person, but not many past maybe two or three, I guess I would say. But when you sat there and let that person continue on to the point where they were starting to ask questions or make certain statements, and you kept going and until you say, okay, well, look, now you really, I see you ain't gonna back up off of this, so I'm just have to let it go, or the person had to walk away and let it go. You use that default button of saying, but I told you. You saw the dynamic changing as it was changing, but you just wanted to stick to that default button.
I didn't. In some
I'm
cases,
gonna sneeze. I'm gonna sneeze.
I may have seen a
I'm gonna
default. I
sneeze.
may have seen a change.
I'm gonna sneeze.
But if I'm not that focused on that one person, I could miss the change. That happens.
The fact that you were not focused enough on a person to notice a change lets you know, should have let you know, that you needed not be continuing to go back to one particular person.
See, and this is where I think we get we get this misconstrued. Like when you say go back to a person,
Now we don't know.
just because
Now we don't
I was
understand.
hanging out and kicking it with these people does not mean that we were having those type of involvements with each other.
Whatever involvement it was multiple and regular, and it should not have been. If you're gonna keep it moving, keep it moving.
And I was keeping it moving.
No, you weren't. If you went back to any one particular person more than one time, that was not keeping it moving.
But that was
I
the
don't care if
agreed
it was
upon
just
discussion.
dinner. The default button.
I mean, that was
There was
the
the default
agreement.
button, and that's why you was on the ain't-ish Richter scale. Because like
Wow.
you and a bunch of other ain't-ish people, you all want to rely on the default buttons instead of real human feelings. Like you don't know that continuing to see a particular person, I don't care if you're laying down with them or not. If you just taking them out to dinner, if y'all hanging out and going on out to events, eventually somebody is going to start feeling something because it's becoming a regular thing. But I told you at the beginning. Then keep it moving,
Brandon, I'm not was I wrong in my stating that
bro. I didn't say you were wrong. I said you were an ish.
man
And they allowed it.
they
It didn't
allowed
stop the fact that you were an ish. They just allowed it. They
man
had their slice of the ain't
we
ish
go,
pie and they was good with
we're
it.
gonna have to do a poll on this or something.
You hold away.
We're gonna have to do a poll because
Do what you do, baby. It is what it is. You saw.
you can't tell me you weren't honest. Really, Tawanda?
Just because you were being
Wow.
honest does not mean that you were being good as well. Like you can't say, "Oh, I was a good dude," I was letting the people know, that I was, hey, I'm dating. I ain't with you, just you. I'm out here. I got this one over there, I got that one over there, and there might be somebody else along the way. And as long as you good with that, you already not good right there. Like you already on the ain't ish meter right there, just by that action alone.
Come through, Brandon. This is what I'm talking about.
What is Brandon saying?
If they allowed it, does that make them ain't shit too?
It makes them delulu, as the new word that they calling it, delusional. But there were some, I'm sure, that played the game right along with no problem. Hey, we all gonna play the game. You wanna play? I wanna play too. And that's one of them things. Like I said, women have converted. Women have joined the ain't ish ball game. They like, shoot, ball game. Let's play and let's do this. And I just think that, like, when you say, "Are women the new men and men the new women?" No, we just the playing field has just leveled out, and y'all don't like that.
Who is y'all? I'm not.
Men.
Oh, okay. I guess I gotta kind of listen in and accept some of it because I'm a man.
You are.
But Keisha, we talking about right now. We are talking about men and women and the relationship lines being blurred. Have women become the new men and men become the new women. Um, and about men being called sassy for no reason. We're a little bit all over the place. It's kind of open forum at this point.
Ain't
And
all over the place.
Kynisha trying to say I wasn't ish
Corey
coming
was
through.
on the ain't ish meter during his dating life. He was about a 3.2 on the scale. When you go from a 1 to a 5, he was about a 3.2. And, that's where we are right now. That, he had people that he was rocking with, that he
So
told them, "Hey, I'm rocking with who I'm rocking with. I ain't for you. I ain't for her. I ain't for her. I'm for the streets." So
so
that's just
wow.
because you told them that does not mean that you were the good dude. You started the whole program on the 8-ish meter.
Jeff, I wasn't even 30 at the time. What she talking about? You know what I'm saying? It was. I was just saying.
Anyhow,
You and Jeff, true that. Let's get into that.
what is Jeff saying?
Jeff says, first he said, hold up, let's go back. Let's go back. He say honesty doesn't always mean good, which is true. I would agree. Because you can be honest with your side
That's
piece
how he
about
got on the scale in the first place.
you can be honest about your side piece with your side piece about being
You were
married.
honest about the fact that you was for the streets.
I don't like that for the streets term, man.
That's what the new term is. That's what we're going with.
I don't like that. And he's right. The women, because young women want traditional men, but don't want to be traditional women. They want men who do all the traditional things, but they don't want to do any of the.
And men want traditional women and want to be a traditional man.
Hey, I'm just reading the comments. I'm just reading the comments. My audience. I was exploring my options. B right. I can't just make a lifelong commitment. I gave them a chance to test drive a car. When you ever bought a car, you ain't test drove.
How many times did you need to test drive it? Yes, moving on. Anyway, so no. Women and men, I don't think the roles have, I don't think the lines have gotten blurred. I don't think the role reversal has happened. What I think has happened, this is just my little old opinion, who am I? I think that women have taken the brakes off, the training wheels off, the the parachute, all the things that were supposed to keep us safe back in the day that we were told we shouldn't do as women. I think women are like goosing and gandering this thing. Like if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. If they can do it, why am I not able to do it? We're individuals in this world, in this life. It shouldn't be anything out there that's okay for you that's not okay for me. Now,
That
do
sounds.
I need to gauge really how much of that I can do as an individual? Men and women should do that. Men should get a good gauge on what they can really, how far they can get off into the pool. Just like women need to decide how far can I really get into the pool. Because maybe you need to stay in the kiddie pool. Even though it's available to you, don't mean you need to go get it. Maybe you need to be in the kiddie pool and just chill out over there. Some people can jump off in the deep end and can swim just fine. Some people jump out there and drown. You got to know.
They got sharks out there in the deep end.
You got to know where you're at. I'm in the pool, not the ocean. But they got, we find some gators in pools these days.
They got, we in the South, they got gators hiding in the pools.
You're right.
So, hey, don't just be jumping out there.
I'm just saying,
out the porch,
I don't think the lines got blurred. I think women decided to join the game. And now everybody's like, what's wrong with these women these days?
But this is when the double standards come in. Like, this is when the double standards come in.
Busting the ceiling on that one too.
But then you turn around, like you can't be a woman and say you don't you want to be able to run out there and what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Yeah.
And then turn around when there are men who don't want to deal with somebody who's did the goose and the gander.
This right here. This is where
like you can't get mad at that point.
I feel like people have gotten to the point where they do too much with the labels these days. Like, don't label me because I am something you wouldn't choose. There's somebody out there who won't.
Yeah, they
but I feel like
we talked about Joe Smith, man, the porn star last week.
Yeah, I mean, we do too much with these labels and deciding that somebody's not worthy of something just because you wouldn't accept it. That's fine. You don't have to accept it. Matter of fact, I didn't ask you to. The point is that just because you feel a way about it, everybody don't feel that way about it.
This
so
is
stop
true.
Labeling people.
But I'm speaking to the people. I'm speaking for the women who, in turn, when they see a man that they want, and that man decides, hey, I don't like this, that, or the other. You are not for me. Mm-hmm. Then she turns on the man if he doesn't have the right to say you're not for me.
And he does. And that is why I said what I said as far as being careful of how far you get into this pool and knowing your boundaries and knowing your
Yeah,
limits.
because
Because if you get in your feelings like that, you
you
don't
need
need
to
to be
stay.
there. You need to
You
back it
need.
up.
But most time they don't understand it or don't realize that until it's too late.
That's like the thing, and this is off subject on subject. Like with women with the BBLs, with the new way, the new normal for dressing is exposed. All these things. And they now say you body shaming me, you are, all kind of different things when somebody has something to say about what they've chosen to put out to the world. Well, just because it's your right and your prerogative doesn't mean that it goes with no negative connotation. Like you have to be able to say, if I do this thing, then this thing may happen or may be said about it.
Everything
And be
comes with
accepting, like
consequences.
everything has a consequence, some good, some bad. You just have to be
Hey,
able, hey, you want to walk around out here with your arse out, do that.
let's get
But
it
that
though.
does not mean
Let's
that
get.
it's just supposed to, this is my body, I can show it. But
But
that's not
just
gonna
know
stop me
something
from having
comes
an
with it.
opinion about it. That ain't
Some
gonna stop
comes
me from
with it.
possibly looking at you
Hey,
crazy, you know?
let's get back to the hots, to the hot topic because they done got hot in this comment section down
What
here.
it is,
So
what they
Keisha
say.
say 25% of men are sassy. 25%. Wow.
25%
25%
of men are
are from the
sassy.
old days, and 50% is for the streets. 50% of men is for the streets. Hold up. Then she turn around. See this one I'm talking about. Here come the double standard. 25% of women live by the old days. 25%, 25% is the head of the house. 25% go with the flow, and 25% is for the streets. So now double the men is for the streets is for the women. That's what we saying.
You said the comment section
Oh,
was saying that. I didn't say
I'm
anything.
just saying. I'm asking a question. I just want to see, how you feel.
Uh, I will always think that there's more men in the streets than women.
Yeah, I
I
won't debate
just,
that
yeah,
because
I
I
mean,
won't debate that because of one thing, because the numbers are in the man's favor. It's 4-1 out here, even with when you go to the taking out the LBGTQs and the people locked up.
LHQ.
Yeah, the LGBTQ. Once you get to taking all them out, it's still more women than men.
Yeah.
So men have more options. I will say that men do have more options if you're staying within a certain guideline. If you stand within a certain, like I don't date outside my race, I don't date a certain type of person, then for women, your options become very limited.
I'm gonna guess that by sassy men, she meant the bitchiku.
The LGBTQ?
I
Okay.
think is what she was referring to. So being that that's what she's talking about, okay, I get that part as far as the 25% being sassy. They in the little bitch cute.
This
I
this
get
was
that.
this was another good question that was brought up. Like, and this was on someone else's. They brought it up to my attention. I missed it on their page, but they were like, when it comes to dating, if we're going out, we're not serious. Who's supposed to pay for the date? Is it automatically the man's responsibility to pay for a date?
I'm sorry. I feel like that should be a discussion before you get
Like,
there. Like I don't understand
hey, if you
going on a date
even Jeff
and
said
not
it,
understanding.
and what made
Listen,
me think about it is Jeff said it in his comment. He says, Keisha, that might be true, but the expectations of men have not changed. You want to go do all of that a man does, that's cool. But do you want to buy me dinner too? As a woman, do you want to buy me dinner?
that's facts.
Because
And
if
I
we
do feel
if
like
we
women also want that old school way with the new school mentality. Like, let me say this. When I was watching a particular thing and somebody was like, we're not going to talk to the ladies that way. But the ladies that the man cussed out, you was super aggressive, straight up, like just hard. And then when dude was like, man, F you, bruh, like F all everything about you. I don't care nothing. You don't know me. You haven't respected me since we got here. Like, and F you, bruh. Like, I don't have to deal with you, and I don't have to put up with you, and I don't have to put up with your mouth. And then it was, well, we're not gonna talk to the ladies like that. Well, the lady ain't acting like a lady. So stop expecting all of these chivalrous acts from these men when you're not gonna be the damsel. And I ain't say damsel in distress. I said a damsel.
Just period. Just
Just
be a
period.
woman.
Just being the feminine, soft. If you don't have that energy, stop expecting men to treat you with that energy.
Because if you calling me bro all the time, I'm gonna treat you like a bro. If you're a woman and you calling me bro all the time, hey bro, what up, bro? I'm treating you like a bro.
I mean, if you want, how they say, honeys and flies and bees, like you're gonna get more flies with honey. It's sweeten it up. You're gonna get more of that. And it's not to say women need to be softer, per se.
Some of them do.
You got some pretty masculine, feminine.
Yeah, I need to.
Something.
Hey, I don't know what. That's the part I'm talking about. And that's a big thing. It's twofold. That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother show. You be like, who hurt you? Because it's like, yeah, because
the mama, you are rough.
Yeah,
and you don't know how to tone it down for nobody. And I do say a lot of this is not growing up with the right role models, male or female.
Right.
Like you're not seeing how to be a woman. You're not seeing how to be a man from a man who takes being a man seriously.
Ain't nobody teaching you how to process your damage.
Yeah,
at all. Just adding your damage, like you got a armor of damage, and now your heart is.
Let me roll back a little bit because we missed some of this in the midst of you calling me an ish. But back then, yeah. But I'm just saying.
I'm gonna qualify that back then.
Back then, all right. But it says a man can strip naked, run outside, and he'll be said to be wild and crazy. If a woman does that, she's labeled a whore. And see, this is my thing with that. Brian, I'm gonna say this. And if y'all haven't been following us, you could probably go back to an old episode, and we talked about nudity. We talked about how America is one of the countries that sells sex. Sex sells. Everything in America is sexualized. Everything in America is sexualized. But America has an issue with nudity. I know where you were going with what you were saying, but in other countries, that's not a big deal. We sell sex, we exploit sex, we put sex in our music, in our TV commercials, in our shows. We put sex in everything and then turn around and have an issue with nudity. We everything is sexualized in America, and then we want to give tickets and fines.
Sorry, y'all.
And those things for being nude outside. Like we are so backwards when it comes to that, when it comes to nudity. But I get what you're saying, because it will. If I run outside naked, I'm wild and crazy. She runs outside naked, they calling to try to get her to the third floor. Something's wrong with her. She's being a whore. Now, I will say this, and I saw this comment as well about the OnlyFans, the about how no man wants to date a woman who's on the OnlyFans.
Stop that. Hold up. Let me break in right here, right now. That's the problem that I have with people today. Like I just said, with the labels. No man wants to date a woman on OnlyFans.
That's not true.
That ain't true at all. That's you don't want a woman on OnlyFans. And maybe the people around you, probably everybody in your general consensus as far as the people who you hang with may not want a woman. But what makes a woman and what makes her acceptable, or him, a man, and what makes him acceptable is not determined by your reality at all. And that's where a lot of these struggles kick in. That's why women are calling men sassy. That's why men are saying, oh, they got this new thing about the baby mamas. If she didn't care about her body, then why should I give honor to it when she didn't give no honor to it? Why should I give her more honor than she gave her own self? She got baby daddies and all this stuff, and now she want me to be the good dude when she didn't care about the dude she was laying up with. Now
Hey,
you got baby daddies. All these different things. Worry about your reality. If that's your reality, that let that be. But do not generalize everybody based on your reality. That's your perception and that's your reality. We have got to drop these labels. Then maybe we can all get along. When I can stop expecting you to look like my reality, I could probably treat you better because I don't have to accept you in your OnlyFans page. Whatever man wants you got to accept you in your OnlyFans page.
right.
I don't. And you cool with your OnlyFans page. It ain't my cup of tea. It might be his over there. You know what I'm saying? And same thing
I'm cool
for
with
the,
you in
for
your
the, for the
OnlyFans.
women. I'm straight going to the Cheesecake Factory. You might not be, she might not accept you with the Cheesecake Factory, but I'm good at the Cheesecake Factory. They got good food up in there. I like it. It's cool. So we gotta let these
Mhm.
labels go. Like, just because it doesn't fit your reality doesn't mean it
I'm
don't work. It
I'm
works.
not a
Just don't
fan
work
of
for you.
labels. I've never been a fan of labels. Anybody who knows me know I hate labels. I hate being put in a box. I hate you telling me what is or what isn't when it comes to who I am. I'm whoever I want to be that day. However I feel. Like don't don't be putting me in a box, man. And it's crazy. And
And he is such a headache because exactly what he said is what he is. Whoever he want to be that day, and I got to deal with whoever that is. Whoever wake up that morning, now I got to figure him out.
hey,
I be tired, y'all. Pray for me.
it keep life exciting. It's like a box of chocolates. Um the and going back to I see a lot of people talking about the dating. Like if she takes me, she makes the most money, y'all. We're gonna talk about finances one day. But she makes more money than me, so why can't she buy me dinner? Just because I'm a man, I have to always pay for dinner. She can pay sometimes. I'm just saying. I'm probably paying with her money anyway, but
Lies and propaganda.
but
Oh goodness.
I'm cool with
I make more money than a lot of people. So let's clarify that. And that's not, I'm not being boastful and I'm not bragging. It's the career that I'm in. I have the ability to make more money than a lot of people. Hairstylists make money. Those that are good at what they do, those that have a hustle mentality and we get it out the mud. Like, it's always, I've been self-employed since I was 19 years old. Therefore, I should be here later, 22 years later. I should be in the position that I make more money than a lot of people in a lot of
Mhm.
different professions. You know what I'm saying? So let's clear that up. Let's get that done. I am in a profession where I stand to make more money than the average person. Maybe, I don't know.
And that's true too, Jeff. Because depending on your religion, your culture, where you come, everybody views dating differently. Some people, I don't think here in the majority of, let me not say majority, a lot of people don't take dating seriously anymore. They don't take relationships seriously anymore. Everything is instant access. I date. We met, and this is, I think what happens. It's a twofold thing. I think it's women getting tired of men and they BS one, and then women,
What's the BS you mentioned there, sir?
huh?
What's the BS you mentioned there? What do you mean?
Just whatever you consider BS for men when it comes to dating. Not being honest, not wanting to commit, not whatever it may be. And I think in that instance, women have evolved to a point where if he can date multiple people, I can date multiple people. If I
Correct.
can do this, and I, y'all, anybody who knows me, I am all for sexual liberation. Like I'm not out of be you. And but at the same time, no, everybody is not going to accept that version of you. And you have to be okay with it. You have to be okay that
Y'all
everything
say
is not for
sexual
everybody.
liberation. I still call it hoeing. You hoeing. Man or woman, I don't care what your gender is. It is what it is.
I mean, being sexually liberated don't mean you're sleeping around with people. Being sexually liberated could be something as simple. I'm open about my sexuality. I like come on, let's not pretend that for years, for decades, for generation upon generation, women didn't even have discussions about sex openly
You mean
or the ability that they like sex, I enjoy sex, even talking with their partner about sex.
you mean as a
Yo,
mindset?
yeah, I mean, as a
As an open
mindset,
mindset.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm.
Clarity, man. Like
That's
people
why I
listen.
said being liberated.
But you know, that word is not used on a mindset. It's used on the actions.
And
So you got to clear it up for the
but
people to
that's
understand what you're talking about.
but that's people's not not using the word proper.
Oh, they use it
Using
properly.
it
They
just
use it to characterize how they
because
live in their
because
life
they want.
by action.
But I'm saying, even though that's how they're using the word, that's not the way, that's not the proper way to use that term. It is a mental mind state. It's my ability to be able to say, I can talk about sex. I can be open about sex. Sex is not taboo. Sex is not something we supposed to only talk about in the corner in the under a dog light in reading a girly man. Like that's what I mean when
Did
I'm
you just
talking
say
about this.
girly magazine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes,
sex.
I did, Jeff.
What?
I did ask her dad. I did ask her dad and her mom for her hand in marriage. I had already proposed, and then I came back, but they didn't know I had proposed before I asked. So, yeah, yeah, I did, Jeff. I did, and
Nothing about this relationship. Nothing about this relationship was traditional. Nothing.
yeah, yeah, that's a whole different story. But like I said, you lost my train. What was we talking about? Liberation. Yeah, do your thing. Do talk about it. Be free, because we know women. Let's be honest. When you were a child, you didn't. Your mama didn't sit you down and say, "Let's talk about the birds and the bees." You just don't have sex. You going to hell. That was what the conversations we got growing up.
That was not the conversation I got growing up.
Well, what was your? It was close to that. It was in that range.
It wasn't.
What was? Don't do it.
I didn't get a conversation.
You didn't even get a conversation.
I ain't taking care of no baby.
I ain't taking care of no baby. Same difference.
And I was 14 and was like,
huh? What are we talking about? What?
Babies.
And that's and that was
but that's how the thoughts got in my head, because mama didn't sit me down and actually have an open communication with me about what it was. So I'm like, obviously there's something to this. I need to explore.
And I tell everybody this. This is one of the good things. Like, this was something different about how I was raised. This conversation was had. Like, we had this conversation. My mama was open about this. The adult people around me were open about these conversations. Now, I did have some older cousins and stuff like that who sat down and explained stuff to me also, because they were older and they already had experiences I hadn't yet had. So they were looking out. Because I tell everybody else.
Well, wait.
I tell people this.
I'm sorry. I got to cut y'all for a moment, because while it's on my head, don't y'all fuss at me. Hold your thoughts. I was raised, my mom and dad divorced when I was a little girl. My dad remarried. My mama stayed single for a while. My mama and I never had the discussion. That was detrimental. My dad, however, decided he and my stepmother, they were going to sit down and have this discussion with me and my sister. Yeah, she's my stepsister, my sister. And my dad sat there kind of blinking like he was waiting to be rescued. And my stepmother sat there and went to my brother's room and pulled one of his condoms and popped it open and filled it with water and was like, this is what it looked like. And it rolled in this way and the other. I was like 11. So I had no freaking clue what the hell was going on. I was 11 or 12, which made my sister 9 or 10.
Oh,
and we're
God.
sitting there looking at each other like,
Complete confusion. But you put it in their head.
and now we're lost and confused and sex. That's all we got. So my introduction to sex was not healthy. I would, to say the least. So these conversations, we want to talk about childhood trauma and how it shapes a person and their sexuality. God. Yeah, I'm sorry. It hit my head. It dawned on me that the conversation was had.
And y'all know now.
It was just blocked out of my memory.
And if y'all been around us enough, I don't remember what I was about to talk about before she cut me off. Where were we? Like, what were we talking about? I
don't know. Moving on. Let's just move to the next. I don't know. I said don't lose it. Y'all, I apologize.
It's her fault, y'all.
I felt like that was going to happen. I told him to hold it.
I tried.
Okay. So, moving right along. Moving on.
Oh, let me show y'all something. I want to talk about this. And we're going to wrap it up with this. Since we are talking about relationships, conversations, y'all do see at the bottom, I want y'all to like, share, subscribe. Facebook, YouTube. You can follow us at Passing for Perfect with Corey and Kynisha. On Instagram, it's Passing for Perfect with Corey and Kai. And on TikTok, it's Passing for Perfect with Co and Kai. Because everybody has their own character limits. I have to adjust to the character limits.
You may go back and make everything Co and Kai. Just to make everything cohesive.
But the thing down here, since we're talking about relationships and we do tend to get into relationships, if you can see scrolling across the bottom, you'll see the 10 characteristics of a healthy relationship. And they
will be closing out with
that they are respect, intimacy, trust, effective communication, friendship, connection, commitment, healthy conflict, flexibility, and enjoyment. Those are the 10
healthy characteristics
of a healthy relationship. Okay. Respect, that goes without saying. Intimacy is not just physical intimacy. Right. It's also emotional and spiritual intimacy. It's deeper than just the physical aspect of intimacy. We're also in the conversation trust. We talked about trust earlier. Like you have to trust that the person you're in a relationship has your best interest at heart, and you also have to trust yourself to have that person's best interest at heart. Like trust is a two-way street. You have to be able to trust somebody as well as be trustworthy to that person. And trust is a ongoing thing. It you kind of fill and deplete that cup based on situations, and you have to be realistic when you're talking about trust. Effective communication. It's a difference between communicating and having effective communication. We can communicate a lot. We can talk a lot, but it's not effective. We're not getting any points across. Yeah. We're just running off at the mouth. We're talking at each other.
Yeah, not comprehending and listening.
We're not comprehending and listening.
So let me jump in right there just for a moment. A tool for effective communication if you're in a relationship and you all run into a moment where you're trying, you're struggling to communicate about whatever it is, even if it's a good thing, because sometimes people have a hard time expressing how they feel, So when you're trying to have these conversations, a good way to know you are effectively communicating is to be able to mirror one another in the conversation. So if he's talking to me and he's saying this thing, this, that, or the other, my reply is, so what I heard you say was this, that, or the other. So that when I say back to him, what I heard you saying is this, if I misinterpreted that in any way, he has a chance to correct me or to say, yes, but I mean it in this way, and that way, the two of you are actually effectively communicating. Yeah, like he said, we can say we can throw a lot of words at the wall and see what sticks, but I need everything I'm saying to stick. And effective communication does not mean that by the end of the conversation, the two of you agree.
We agree to disagree a lot, all the
That's where
time.
a lot of couples, a lot of relationships stumble and crumble, not just couples, but friendships, just family relationships. We don't have to agree. I have to hear you. I have to respect your position. You have to respect mine. And then we move on and we operate accordingly.
Yeah, and I
If
struggle to agree to disagree, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. For me, that is and sometimes it appears to be a cop out. But I had to learn that we're not always gonna see it the same way. But we need to walk away understanding each other's point of view and having respect for each other's point of view and where they're coming from in the conversation.
right.
I like, yeah, because that's a like, I don't think when we agree to disagree, I do feel like I'll be in the moment like, well, you really ain't understand me, because I feel like I was right and you need to agree with what I was saying, and that's not and that's not always what it is. It's not always about being right or wrong, and I think that's the biggest issue in communication. You can't look at communicating, having a conversation with somebody as a right or wrong situation all the time. Even though it may be a situation where you're trying to get clarity on a situation where you felt some type of way about something and she didn't intentionally or he didn't intentionally mean to make you feel that way, but um it wasn't about whether or not they were right or wrong. That's just what they were in at the moment, and it
Everybody's
wasn't
entitled to
intention.
be in their own space.
Yeah,
Everybody's
so
entitled to
everybody's
have
entitled
their
to
feelings on
feel
the
to have their own
situation.
feelings, and yeah, that was something I like. Look, if I'm feeling some type of way, you should feel that type of way too. Your emotions should be attached to my
I
emotions.
only feel like that when I'm mad at somebody and ready to fight. You need to be ready to fight with me. Don't try to calm me down, and you better come up. Don't be calm while I'm hype. Hype up or calm down when I calm down. That's the only time I feel like you ought to feel how I feel is when I'm ready to fight. I need you to be ready to fight.
And I'm always trying to be like, come on, bro,
This man will let me go to jail, I swear. So
calm down.
this is the thing. He said we was going to end it with that. We're not going to go through all of those, but I just want to make this announcement before we end this live, and that is what?
Brandon say you toxic. That's toxic. Yeah, I want to fight. Everybody need to want to fight.
I'll take that. All I'm gonna say is just stay ready. That's all I say. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. I'm usually the one having fun, dancing, chilling, whatever. But if ever I want to fight, there is a reason I want to fight. Like, come on, let's do this.
Violence is not the answer, people. Violence is not the
By the
answer.
time I'm ready to get violent, it's time to get violent. Believe me.
But Keisha, a lot, but that's the thing. I hear you, but am I listening to you? Like, I can hear you and not be listening to a thing you saying. Listening is what we need to be trying to do. We
And
need to
comprehending.
and comprehending what that person is saying.
People's comprehension skills suck. And I'm gonna say this because people will hear 4 words, and then when they respond, they got a whole paragraph they heard. Where did you get all of that from? I didn't say that at all. You take what's in your head and how you feel about the thing, and you apply that to what I just said. I said 4 words. Where did you get that dissertation from that you just came back with? I said these 4 words. I meant those 4 words. That's it. Like, people will create what they think it is instead of listening to what the person said. This is all I said. And that is all there is to it. Not all of that other stuff that you cooked up in your head, which is why it's sometimes not good. Not sometimes, it's most times not good to try to hash things out in a text. No, bad energy there. Bad energy there. So, this is what I want to say about, I talk with my hands, y'all. Okay. So, this is next week. We will not be with you at 7 p.m. We're going to be with them at what? 10:30 p.m.?
Yeah, it's gonna be
It's going to
10:30.
be a after dark discussion. Going to go on next week. We always leave it open for you all to come and say, "Hey, I want to talk about this topic. I'd like to hear what y'all have to say about this." And we were sent a video of Leslie Jones. Tell them where they can find that video.
You can pull it up at Breakfast Club.
We'll share it to the Passion for Perfect page. We can do that.
Nah, no
Is it
free
too
shout outs.
much?
No free shout outs. But we'll
Can
just
we link it in here in the comment?
no free shout outs.
No.
But
Dang.
if you want to, you can go
I'm
on
just
you
mean.
can go on YouTube and you can pull up or Instagram. You can pull up Leslie Jones on Breakfast Club, and she was talking about men.
At a moment.
She had a real moment. And I would have had the link and I could have put it up right now, but I wasn't. It wasn't even thinking. But anyway, you can pull it up. Leslie Jones on Breakfast Club. She went off about men and not taking care of themselves and their sexual health and their parts not working. And I said that goes both ways, men and women. Women don't do what they supposed to do all the time either.
And I say, if you don't know how it works, you don't need to be trying to fool with it. Don't go
So
playing with it. Because I saw a guy in a comment section. It's always a comment section for me, y'all. I saw a guy in a comment section saying he hated that his woman always had to get up and go to the bathroom after sex. She's messing up the mood.
yeah,
He was ready to hug and cuddle, and she was
yeah,
busting up the mood.
don't yeah.
Huh?
We'll talk about that next week.
I'm just saying. I'm giving insight on what's to come. So you know, we're in a place where I still don't think men really understand the female body like they should.
I don't think women understand the male body like they should.
Well, we're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
It's
we
gonna be a
definitely gonna
thing.
talk
Oh, we're
about
gonna
it.
talk about that. And we're gonna help you understand
We're
why.
not talking about us. Like, don't
Not
try to
us.
get not us at all.
But we're gonna talk about why Limp Bizkit be Limp Bizkit, and we ain't talking about the band. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we're
You
not
know,
talking about the band.
we're gonna talk about the scratching post and the dryness and things.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about all of it after dark next week. So if you're gonna tune in with us, don't expect us at 7 p.m. Expect us later because it's gonna be an after dark conversation. I don't want y'all playing us live. If you are listening to us live and your children up walking around, it ain't gonna be on us.
What you hear is what you hear. What we talk
It ain't
about
gonna
is
be
what we're
on
gonna
us.
talk about.
Because we're gonna have the conversation and we're gonna have the conversation.
But y'all will just once again follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Like, share with your friends. Tell your mama and them. Tell your mama to tell your daddy and them. Just tell everybody. Next week we're gonna be 10:30. Next Monday will be 10:30 for after dark. It'll be after dark. Yeah. So for our East Coast people, y'all gonna have to stay up a little late. I know I got a couple of people that's in the East Coast time. They be dipping out on us early. Y'all gonna have to take y'all naps so y'all can be up at 10:30.
I'm just
Because
saying,
that's 11:30 on the
I
East
think
Coast.
it's a necessary conversation. It is for men to stop thinking they slinging something they ain't slinging.
And for women to stop thinking they sunshine and is really the middle of midnight.
Good night, y'all.
All right, y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. Y'all have a good night.
Good
We will
night.
see y'all next week.
Did you just say the sunshine is the moon? Is that what you
I
said?
didn't say moon. I said